Tuesday, August 13th. In the early morning, on the German airfields all along the northern coasts of Europe, all the way up to Norway, Luftwaffe pilots are getting ready and their planes are being prepared for Operation Adlertag, Eagle Day, the operation aimed at destroying the Royal Air Force founded on the 1st of April of 1918. The day breaks cloudy, with a dense mist lying over most of the bases from which the planes are to take off for Britain. Göring decides to delay the operation until the afternoon, but a breakdown in communications has meant that some pilots have not received the orders in time and have set off towards their targets. At 1400 hours in rainy weather, 1,800 planes launch relentless attacks on Britain in an offensive targeted at RAF headquarters, airfields, and factories, which is meant to destroy the capacity of the fighter command to resist. The Thames estuary and the military bases of Portland, Portsmouth, and Dover, where the numerous Royal Navy vessels are stationed, bear the brunt of the German bombing. By the end of the day, the Luftwaffe has carried out 3,480 incursions and lost 40 planes. British pilots have made 700 takeoffs and suffered 13 losses. Significant damage has been caused, though the German pilots are not wholly satisfied with the operation. Nevertheless, Göring promises that he will put an end to the RAF within 4 weeks. The Gestapo arrests Louis Companys, former president of Catalonia, in the French town of La Baule-les-Pins. Wednesday, August 14th. The German attacks are seriously damaging Britain's infrastructure, but the Luftwaffe is facing problems. The limited range of the Bf-109 fighter planes that protect the Bf-110 fighter bombers, which themselves are limited in terms of maneuverability, are factors that benefit the RAF, which also enjoys the advantage of fighting on its own territory. British bombers raid German territory, bombing the Junkers aircraft factories at Dessau to the north of Leipzig and other military objectives in the Ruhr Basin. Other squadrons strike airfields in Belgium, Holland, and France, as well as industrial areas in the Italian cities of Milan and Turin. In the United States, the Secretary of the Navy, Frank Knox, asks the House of Representatives to vote for a compulsory military service bill, arguing that it is necessary at a time when the United States will be without friendly nations in the world if Britain falls to the Nazis. If that were to happen, the United States would be in an extremely difficult position, he says. At the same time, President Roosevelt has agreed on a deal with Churchill involving the exchange of 50 old destroyers for a 99-year lease to the Americans of British bases in Newfoundland, Bermudas, and the West Indies. In the Chinese city of Shanghai, Chiang Xiuling, one of Marshal Chiang Kai-shek's closest advisors, is shot dead. Thursday, August 15th. The Luftwaffe persists in its attacks on Britain in its effort to break the British will to resist. Non-stop day and night bombing raids have destroyed a number of airfields and ports in the south of the country. But Hugh Dowding has introduced a rotation system that means there are always pilots ready to go into action. The situation for German flyers is very different. The air offensive takes place along an 800-kilometer front, and many British towns and cities such as Dover, Southampton, Bristol, Newcastle, Croydon, and Portsmouth suffer heavy bombing, while the battles rage in the skies above. The fighting ends with 76 German planes shot down by enemy aircraft and anti-aircraft fire. The 5th German Air Fleet based in Norway has suffered the most. Exhausted Luftwaffe pilots have carried out a total of 1,786 flights on the day they name Black Thursday, Schwarze Donnerstag. RAF flyers have taken off 964 times and 34 planes have been lost. In London, Churchill asks the House of Commons to have confidence in his government and the armed forces. The Germans will not invade until the air struggle is over, he says. He reassures the House that necessary measures have been taken to deal with the activities of saboteurs. In the Sea War, U-51, commanded by Dietrich Knorr, sinks the British merchant ship Silverfield. Meanwhile, the Greek freighter ship Hella comes under attack from what is believed to be an Italian U-boat. Friday, August 16th. British morale remains high, and there is an air of victory in the country despite everything. Nevertheless, another wave of German bombers attacks industrial targets in Kent, Surrey, and Hampshire, and on the outskirts of London. British fighters managed to repel the German onslaught. Among the RAF pilots is James Nicholson, flying a Hurricane, who was attacked by several Messerschmitts. Wounded, and with his plane ablaze, he still manages to shoot down an enemy plane before parachuting from his aircraft. RAF Bomber Command sends its planes against the Italian aircraft engine factories of Fiat in Turin and Caproni in Milan, the German oil facilities in Gelsenkirchen and Rheinholz, and the munition factories of Lunen, Essen, Gladbach, and Dusseldorf. Churchill and his government threatened to dismiss the King of Egypt if his military commanders failed to collaborate with the British forces in the area. In the event of this happening, the country would fall under the authority of General Archibald Wavell, commander of the Middle East. The governments of Hungary and Romania engage in negotiations to try to solve their territorial disputes. The bilateral meetings are sponsored by the foreign ministers of Germany and Italy. In the battle at sea, U-100, commanded by Joachim Schepke, sinks the British merchant ship Empire Merchant. Fritz Julius Lemps U-30 sinks the Clan McPhee. U-46 sends the Dutch Alcinous to the bottom of the ocean, and U-48, captained by Hans Rudolf Rosing, sinks the Swedish Hedron. Saturday, August 17th. Hitler blames the OKM, the High Command of the Navy, for failing to effectively blockade Britain. It's possible that the British believe they have isolated Germany, he says. You must make them understand that they are the ones who are besieged. Destroy any ship sailing in their waters, allied or neutral, and attack ruthlessly and without prior warning. The Führer is irritated by the shortcomings of the Luftwaffe, and following the failure at Dunkirk, he no longer believes in Göring's promises. In London, the Minister of Information, Duff Cooper, delivers a radio broadcast encouraging the British people to hold out. The RAF has inflicted severe damage on the Germans, he says, but they must not become complacent, as this has only been the prelude of the planned seaborne invasion. The nation must unite and endure. Meanwhile, RAF planes bombard the Junkers factories at Derneburg and air bases, oil refineries, and munition factories in northern Germany. The Swiss government complains against repeated violations of its airspace by combatant countries. In Africa, Italian planes attack the British naval base at the port of Alexandria in Egypt, while the British bomb Italian troop lines at Bardaya and Forte Capuzzo on the Libyan-Egyptian border. In the Lodz ghetto in Poland, prisoners complain about the terrible conditions in which they are being held and the lack of food, which is killing hundreds each day. their protest is brutally crushed by the SS. Sunday, August 18th. In Britain, where the Luftwaffe's offensive has been going on for 10 days, air attacks continue, though with less intensity. The German pilots now target airfields and railways in the county of Kent to the southeast of London. To date, the Germans have lost 367 aircraft and the British 211. For its part, British Bomber Command is carrying out ever more daring missions. RAF planes raid military facilities in the German regions of Freiburg, Bad Rheinfelden, and Waldshut, near the Swiss border, and German airfields in Belgium and France, and Italian plane factories at Milan and Turin are bombed. According to the RAF, 150 enemy planes have been destroyed while on the ground. Allied forces begin to evacuate British Somalia. Nevertheless, Churchill's government does not consider the Italian invasion a total success. Hitler sends a telegram congratulating Mussolini for his victory in East Africa. At the same time, RAF planes bomb the airfield at Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia. In Japan, the press gives front-page coverage to reports sent by the Japanese ambassador in London, Shigemitsu, which state that the British are preparing for an imminent German invasion and have even given advice to people in big cities about what to do if they fall under Nazi control.